Night's edge, the waning moon, a mere sliver of light, hung in the ashen sky of Aethelgard. In the skin-splitting cold of the night, Selena, leader of the Demon Scale clan, stood atop the highest tower of the black-faced fortress. The wind howled, carrying with it particles of coal ash from the tireless forges below, creating a thick, black fog that enveloped her realm. From this vantage point, Selena could see all of Blackface, the last stronghold of the Demon Scale clan. The sharp, jagged towers stabbed upwards, piercing the sky like demonic fingers, reflecting the lurid red light from the flowing lava snaking between the structures. This desolate scene was the most glaring testament to the decay of Aethelgard, a world dying from hatred and war. People called her by cruel names: Night's Edge, Blood Queen. These appellations, though causing many to tremble, couldn't touch her heart. They were just a shell, an armor she had to forge to survive in this world. Selena was not born ruthless. She had been forced to become that way. The Demon Scale clan, a race possessing extraordinary physical strength and the ability to manipulate shadows, had once been a powerful force. But under the barbaric rule of her father, Zeros, they had been pushed to the brink of extinction. Zeros, a mad tyrant, drunk on war and power, had squeezed every resource from Aethelgard to serve his personal ambition. His brutality was aimed not only at the Pureblood clan, the Demon Scale's eternal enemies, but also inflicted upon the innocent people of his own clan. Remembering those years, a bone-chilling wind blew through Selena's soul. She still remembered vividly the cries of mourning, the pleading looks, and the overpowering stench of blood that haunted her dreams. It was these horrific memories that shaped her determination to overthrow Zeros, even if it meant killing her own father. That bloody rebellion had earned Selena the position of leader, but had also left her with a deep scar. Power, she realized, was a double-edged sword. It could save, but could also destroy. Selena's greatest fear was not failure, but becoming a tyrant like her father. She had seen firsthand what power could do to a person, and she vowed that she would never let it happen to her. But how to keep that vow from becoming a curse? How to rule fairly without losing the strength needed to protect her clan? Those questions gnawed at Selena's mind every day, making her feel lonelier than ever. She couldn't share this burden with anyone in the Demon Scale clan. They worshipped her, feared her, but no one truly understood her. On Selena's back, right between her shoulder blades, was an intricate tattoo of dark red ink. It was the Demon Scale's mark, a symbol of power and the clan's curse. It burned with heat whenever Selena used shadow power, reminding her of the price paid for wielding it. That mark was a part of her, but it was also a boundary, a warning. It reminded her that, no matter how hard she tried, she could never completely escape the darkness that had shaped her. Tonight, that loneliness and burden seemed heavier than ever. Selena reached up, caressing the squiggly lines of the Demon Scale's mark. Was there anyone, just once, who could see her, not as a leader, a blood queen, but just a lonely woman, trying her best to do the right thing? It was at that moment that a blinding light tore through the night. Selena looked up, astonished to see a streak of light descending from the sky. It wasn't a shooting star, but an artificial object, a burning ship plummeting straight towards the black-faced fortress. An omen? Or just an accident? Selena didn't know, but she had a premonition that this sudden appearance would change everything, not just for her, but for the dying world of Aethelgard. And the name Carter Holt would forever be etched into history. The Forsaken Beacon. The golden light of the artificial sun glided softly over the snow-white crystal towers of the City of Light, the heart of the Pureblood clan. Xylon, though familiar with this pristine beauty, couldn't help but feel a prick of sorrow in his heart. This magnificent landscape, a symbol of the Pureblood clan's prosperity and progress, now only brought back painful memories of betrayal and abandonment. Xylon was an elite warrior, raised from childhood to protect the Pureblood clan. He had dedicated his life to honing the power of light, a rare and revered gift among his people. That power allowed him to heal wounds, create dazzling energy weapons, and banish the darkness with pure light. But it was precisely his compassion and thirst for justice that drove Xylon out of the ranks of the Purebloods. During a bloody border conflict with the Demon Scale clan, he witnessed cruel acts ordered by his commanders. These orders, cloaked in the name of protection, were in reality senseless massacres aimed at defenseless innocents. Xylon's heart trembled with indignation. He couldn't stand by silently and watch his brethren turn into bloodthirsty demons. He protested, he pleaded, but to no avail. His words were merely considered rebellion, an insult to those in power. You dare question the council's orders? You dare stand against the will of the light? Those accusations still echoed in Xylon's mind, like an unforgivable sentence. He had been stripped of all his titles, stripped of his power, and exiled from the city of light, banished into the darkness he had sworn to fight. In his months wandering the desolate lands, Xylon witnessed firsthand the suffering and loss caused by the persistent war between the two clans. He realized that the solution didn't lie in destroying the enemy, but in finding a path to peace, a way to end the cycle of violence that had haunted Aethelgard for centuries. He sought out small settlements, areas where both the Demon Scale and Pureblood clans coexisted, trying to help heal the wounds and plant the seeds of hope for a better future. But his efforts were often met with suspicion, opposition, even violence. Both clans had grown so accustomed to hatred that they no longer believed in the possibility of another solution. Tonight, Xylon was on his way to one such settlement, located near the border between the two territories. He had heard that a group of demon scales were preparing to attack this settlement, and he was determined to stop it from happening. He wore his white-silver battle armor, made from a special metal capable of amplifying the power of light. His radiant energy, sword hung at his side, ready for any conflict. But Xylon knew that his real weapon was not physical strength, but his compassion and belief in justice. He hoped that he could persuade the demon scales to abandon the attack and bring peace to the innocent people. However, as he neared the settlement, Xylon was ambushed. A group of demon scale warriors, equipped with shadow weapons, descended from the darkness. They quickly overwhelmed him, nullifying his light power with strange devices and binding him with dark, inky chains. As he was brought before Selena, Xylon wasn't afraid. He looked directly into the crimson eyes of the female leader, and he saw there, not mere ruthlessness, but a deep sadness, a burden that she had to carry alone. "What do you seek here, pure-blood warrior?" Selena asked, her voice cold and sharp as a blade. "I have come to stop this attack," Xylon replied, his voice steady and sincere. "I know that there are innocent people in this settlement, and I cannot let them suffer any more." Selena stared at him, her gaze searching and skeptical. "You think I would believe the words of an enemy?" "I am not your enemy," Xylon said. "I am the enemy of violence and injustice. I believe that there is a better path for both of our peoples." Selena remained silent for a moment, seemingly considering his words. Then suddenly, she laughed, a dry and bitter sound. "You are so naive," she said. "You think you can end this war with pretty words? You understand nothing of this world." "Perhaps I don't," Xylon replied, "but I will not give up hope, and I will not stand idly by while innocent people are killed." Selena gazed deeply into Xylon's blue eyes, and she saw their sincerity that she had never seen before. A spark of hope, small and weak, flickered in her heart. Perhaps, just perhaps, this warrior could bring about a change. Perhaps he could show her another way, a way beyond the darkness that had haunted her for so long. And with that thought, Selena made a decision that could change the fate of all of Aethelgard. Instead of ordering Xylon's execution, she said, "I will give you one chance. You will come with me, and you will prove that your words are not meaningless. If you can persuade me that there is a path to peace, then I will listen to you. But if you fail, I will kill you myself." Xylon nodded, accepting that risky proposition. He knew that the path ahead would be filled with difficulties and dangers. But he also believed that something greater was waiting, a brighter future for Aethelgard. And as Selena and Xylon walked together into the darkness, they were unaware that the destiny of the entire world lay in their hands. This journey would take them to places they had never dreamed of and force them to face the harsh truths about themselves, about the world, and about what was really important in life. Aethelgard, Dirge sung from the ashes. Aethelgard was not always a land of death. There was a time when it was a world brimming with vitality, with verdant forests, meandering rivers, and magnificent, splendid cities. But that is a story of the past, of pages of history stained with blood and ash. Today, Aethelgard is a desolate canvas, a relic of the endless war between two races, the demon scale and the pureblood. Hatred has sunk deep into the marrow, turning the earth barren, polluting the sky, and shrouding the future in a thick, black fog. Scars on Mother Earth. The ancient forests, once the pride of Aethelgard, are now just charred tree stumps, standing forlornly in the wasteland. The land is poisoned by dark magic and deadly technologies, making it impossible for plants to flourish, and the creatures struggle to survive. The rivers, once a lifeline for the communities, have now been drained or severely polluted. Water has become a precious commodity, sparking bloody conflicts between tribes and cities. Cities, once symbols of civilization and progress, are now just crumbling ruins. Collapsed skyscrapers, cracked roads, and destroyed statues are evidence of the fierce devastation of war. These scars are not only on the surface, but also deeply rooted in the earth, and in the very souls of the people of Aethelgard. Two sides of decay. The war between the demon scale and the pureblood clans is not just a struggle for resources and territory, but also a conflict of culture and ideology. These two races, although sharing a common origin, have developed in completely opposite directions. The demon scale clan. Appearance: ash-gray skin, blazing red eyes, jet black hair. Tall, muscular bodies with extraordinary physical strength. Culture: worship of darkness and power, living by the law of the jungle. Despise weakness and emotion, valuing ruthlessness and decisiveness. Art: buildings often have bizarre and terrifying shapes, decorated with dark symbols and violent images. Their music often has dark and frenzied melodies, evoking negative emotions. Magic: proficient in shadow magic, able to summon monsters, manipulate minds, and cast deadly curses. The Pureblood clan. Appearance: fair, smooth skin, deep blue eyes, golden blonde hair. Balanced, graceful bodies with a saintly and pure beauty. Culture: worship of light and progress, living according to strict moral codes. Value peace, justice, and compassion. Art: buildings often have elegant and refined shapes, made from precious materials and decorated with symbols of light. Their music often has melodious and sacred melodies, evoking positive emotions. Magic: proficient in the power of light, able to heal wounds, create energy weapons, and banish darkness. This opposition is not only reflected in appearance, but also permeates every aspect of life. The Demon Scale clan believes that only power can protect them from extinction, while the Pure Blood clan believes that only light and justice can bring peace to the world. That difference has become an insurmountable barrier, causing hatred to escalate and pushing Aethelgard to the brink of destruction. A prophecy of fate. In this decaying world, an ancient prophecy has been passed down from generation to generation. When Night's Edge and the Pure Blood warrior meet, the world will either collapse or be reborn. That prophecy, though bringing a faint glimmer of hope, also contains a deep-seated fear. Will this fateful encounter lead to complete destruction, or will it usher in a new era of peace and prosperity? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain: the destiny of Aethelgard is in the hands of Selena and Xylon, two humans torn between darkness and light, between hatred and love. Will they be able to overcome their differences, erase their prejudices, and find a common path to save this world? Or will they become instruments in the hands of fate, pushing Aethelgard into a bottomless abyss? The answer, like the winds blowing through the ancient ruins, remains a mystery. The demon scales gaze. Flickering flames danced wildly, casting eerie shadows on the rough stone walls of the dungeon. Xylon, bound to a massive pillar, felt the cold seeping into his bones. He had experienced many battles, but never had he felt so powerless. He, a pure-blood warrior, a beacon of light, was imprisoned in the dark heart of the Demon Scale clan. Footsteps echoed in the dark corridor, each beat heavy and menacing. Xylon closed his eyes, trying to focus the remaining power of light within him. But the inky black chains wrapped tightly around his wrists seemed to be draining all his energy. The rusty iron door creaked open, revealing a tall, imposing figure. Selena, the Demon Scale's female leader, entered the dungeon. The light from the torch behind her cast a crimson halo around her, making her appearance even more terrifying. Xylon opened his eyes, looking directly at Selena. Her blazing red eyes bored deep into his mind, as if trying to read his every thought, every emotion. In that moment, something strange happened. Though it was only fleeting, Xylon realized that behind that ruthless and cold exterior was a deep loneliness, a burden that she had to carry alone. "Do you have anything to say before I send you back to the dust?" Selena asked, her voice raspy and ice-cold. Xylon took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. "I don't want to die, female leader," he said. "But neither do I want to live in a world where violence and hatred are the norm." Selena raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by his answer. "You are a pureblood. You shouldn't speak such words." "I am a warrior," Xylon said, "but I am also an Aethelgardian. I believe that we can find another path, a path that does not lead to destruction." "You are too idealistic," Selena sneered. "You understand nothing of this war. You understand nothing of the Demon Scale clan." "I may not understand everything," Xylon replied, "but I know that we are all paying the price for the hatred of our ancestors. We are destroying ourselves bit by bit. If we do not change, Aethelgard will perish." Selena remained silent for a moment, her gaze becoming unreadable. "What do you mean?" "I mean that we need to find common ground," Xylon explained. "We need to learn to see each other not as enemies, but as people who share a world, who share a destiny." "Ridiculous," Selena scoffed. "The Demon Scale clan and the Pureblood clan can never live in peace. We have hated each other for too long." "Then let us change that," Xylon said, his voice full of determination. "Let us break this cycle of hatred. Let us give the next generation a chance to live in a better world." Selena stared intently at Xylon, her eyes as if wanting to pierce through his very soul. She had met many purebloods before, but none had said such words to her. They always seemed arrogant, hypocritical, and full of hatred. But in Xylon, she saw something different, a sincerity that she couldn't deny. "Do you know that if I believe your words, I would be betraying my own people?" Selena asked, her voice deepening. "I know," Xylon replied, "but I also know that you're not a coward. You are the one who overthrew a tyrant. You brought change to the Demon Scale clan. I believe that you have the strength to do the right thing, even if it means going against tradition." Selena's eyes narrowed like razors. "You are risking your life, pure-blood warrior. Are you not afraid?" "I am afraid," Xylon admitted, "but I'm more afraid of watching Aethelgard perish." A heavy silence enveloped the dungeon. Selena stood there, motionless as a statue, while Xylon still looked directly at her, unyielding. Finally, Selena sighed, a soft, almost inaudible sound. "I will give you a chance," she said, "but remember my words. If you deceive me, I will not hesitate to end your life." "I understand," Xylon replied, a spark of hope flaring in his heart. He knew that the challenge ahead would be anything but easy, but he believed that, with Selena's help, he could bring about a new future for Aethelgard, a future free from the darkness of hatred and war. "Follow me," Selena commanded, then turned and walked away. Xylon silently followed her, leaving the dungeon and stepping into a completely new world, a world where his destiny and Selena's were intertwined forever. In that world, they were not just enemies, but also allies, people sharing a common ideal, and perhaps, one day, lovers. But before that could happen, They still had to face countless trials, overcome their differences, and fight to protect what they believed in. Their journey had only just begun, and the future of Aethelgard remained an open question. The demon scales gaze. Flickering flames danced wildly, casting eerie shadows on the rough stone walls of the dungeon. Xylon, bound to a massive pillar, felt the cold seeping into his bones. He had experienced many battles, but never had he felt so powerless. He, a pure-blood warrior, a beacon of light, was imprisoned in the dark heart of the Demon Scale clan. Footsteps echoed in the dark corridor, each beat heavy and menacing. Xylon closed his eyes, trying to focus the remaining power of light within him. But the inky black chains wrapped tightly around his wrists seemed to be draining all his energy. The rusty iron door creaked open, revealing a tall, imposing figure. Selena, the Demon Scale's female leader, entered the dungeon. The light from the torch behind her cast a crimson halo around her, making her appearance even more terrifying. Xylon opened his eyes, looking directly at Selena. Her blazing red eyes bored deep into his mind, as if trying to read his every thought, every emotion. In that moment, something strange had happened. Though it was only fleeting, Xylon realized that behind that ruthless and cold exterior was a deep loneliness, a burden that she had to carry alone. "Do you have anything to say before I send you back to the dust?" Selena asked, her voice raspy and ice-cold. Xylon took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. "I don't want to die, female leader," he said. "But neither do I want to live in a world where violence and hatred are the norm." Selena raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by his answer. "You are a pureblood. You shouldn't speak such words." "I'm a warrior," Xylon said, "but I'm also an Aethelgardian. I believe that we can find another path, a path that does not lead to destruction." "You are too idealistic," Selena sneered. "You understand nothing of this war. You understand nothing of the Demon Scale clan." "I may not understand everything," Xylon replied, "but I know that we are all paying the price for the hatred of our ancestors. We are destroying ourselves bit by bit. If we do not change, Aethelgard will perish." Selena remained silent for a moment, her gaze becoming unreadable. "What do you mean?" "I mean that we need to find common ground," Xylon explained. "We need to learn to see each other not as enemies, but as people who share a world, who share a destiny." "Ludicrous," Selena scoffed. "The Demon Scale clan and the Pureblood clan can never live in peace. We have hated each other for too long." "Then let us change that," Xylon said, his voice full of determination. "Let us break this cycle of hatred. Let us give the next generation a chance to live in a better world." Shadows in the council. The soft, clinking sound of chains echoed as Selena entered the great hall, Xylon following closely behind. Both could feel the cold gazes fixed upon them, like invisible blades slicing through the air. The great hall, a vast space carved from black obsidian, was where Selena's throne stood, and also where the important meetings of the Demon Scale clan's council took place. Flickering torches cast shadows on the walls, making the bizarre carvings even more terrifying. The atmosphere was thick with tension and suspicion. The Demon Scale Council, an assemblage of the most powerful and ruthless individuals in the clan, had gathered in full force. They were seasoned warriors, dark mages, and cunning politicians, all bearing absolute loyalty to the Demon Scale clan and deep hatred for the Pureblood clan. Their eyes focused on Xylon, a pureblood enemy being led by the female leader. His presence in this great hall was an insult, an incomprehensible act, and a potential threat. "Female leader," a deep, hoarse voice rang out. It was Kale, one of the most powerful members of the council, and also one of Selena's most vehement opponents. "We have the right to know why this pureblood is permitted to step foot in this sacred place." Selena stopped, turning back to face Kale. "Xylon is not a prisoner," she said, her voice ice-cold. "He is my guest, and I will treat him as an equal." Whispers immediately broke out in the great hall. Kale sneered, a sinister smile on his face. "An equal? Is the female leader joking? He is an enemy, a dog of the Pureblood clan. He only deserves death." He saved the life of one of our clan, Selena replied, her voice still maintaining its composure. And he has shown us another path, a path that might lead to peace. Peace! Kale laughed loudly, a grating sound that echoed throughout the hall. Peace is a foolish dream, an unforgivable weakness. The Demon Scale clan can never trust the Pureblood clan. Then how long will we continue this war? Selena asked, her voice full of challenge. Until Aethelgard is completely destroyed? Until there is no one left alive to fight? That question silenced the entire hall. Anxious and suspicious glances were exchanged. War had become an indispensable part of their lives, but they were also beginning to feel weary, jaded by the devastation and loss. We have no other choice, Kale said, but his voice had lost some of its confidence. The Pureblood clan are liars and traitors. We cannot believe anything they say. Then let us prove it, Xylon spoke up, the first time he had made his voice heard in the hall. Give me a chance to prove that not all purebloods are the same. Give me a chance to prove that peace is possible. Selena looked at Xylon, her gaze full of thought. She knew that bringing a pureblood into the council was an incredibly risky act. It could cause division within her clan, even lead to another rebellion. But she also knew that she couldn't continue to rule with fear and hatred. She needed to find a new path, a path that led to prosperity and peace for the Demon Scale clan. And perhaps Xylon was the key to opening that door. I will give you one chance, Selena said, her voice full of power. But remember my words well. If you deceive me, if you prove that the Pureblood clan cannot change, I will not hesitate to grant you the most painful death you can imagine. Xylon nodded, accepting the risky proposition. He knew that he was walking on a very narrow path, and just one small mistake could cost him his life. But he also believed that he was doing the right thing, and he would not give up hope, even if he had to face any difficulties. Selena signaled to the guards to untie Xylon. He stood up, rubbing his wrists gently, and looked directly at Selena. I will not disappoint you, he said. Prove it, Selena replied, her voice still cold, but in her eyes, Xylon glimpsed a glimmer of hope. From that moment on, Xylon became a part of the Demon Scale clan's council, an outsider, a potential enemy, but also an unlikely companion. He had to learn to navigate political intrigues, had to prove his worth, and had to fight to protect his beliefs. And in that process, he would gradually uncover the darkest secrets of the Demon Scale clan, secrets that could change the fate of all of Aethelgard forever.